Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brad from Headbangers Podcast. Today we've had Andy, Xander, and Ryan from Slimelord. If you haven't heard of Slimelord, they're a death doom band from Leeds. They've released an incredible new album, Chytridiomycosis Relinquished. It's absolutely phenomenal. We go into the concepts of the album, and what inspired some of the lyrical themes of it. We talk about what they think the most underrated sci-fi films are, because obviously, if you know them, they're massive fans of sci-fi. Everything that went into the album, everything that they got planned in the future. Check it out. It's a great episode that we filmed. If you like the podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you listen on streaming services, don't forget to leave us a rating. Just helps out in the algorithm. And without further ado, let's get into it. How's it going, guys? It's Brad from Headbangers Podcast. Today we've got Xander, Ryan, and Andy from Slimelord. How are you guys doing to start off with?
Yeah, what's good?
It's all good, man. How you doing? Nice to see you both.
Yeah,
See
good to
you.
see you guys again. Right, so let's get into it then. Obviously the new release, Masterpiece. Me and Nathan have honestly been spinning it since it came out, so honestly, well done. I want to get
Yeah.
started by asking, like, because I feel like you guys really create these otherworldly worlds, better than most bands out there at the moment. Like, from Cryptic Shift to now the new Slime Lord release, like you really just get immersed in the release. Um, so like from the Astral Plane to the Swamps, how do you guys get into building these worlds? How do you get in the headspace to creating it?
I think that just kind of comes naturally just from, I guess, like, at least from a conceptual point of view, going through, like you said, the cryptic shift material, just because, like, I guess that's kind of like how we kind of work now regarding, like, concept art and kind of being consistent with that and just having it interesting, kind of like creating concept art and, like, keeping it ball rolling with that. I don't know if we could ever do kind of like a record with, I don't know, any sort of like, I don't know. It kind of
Just mean like
always,
you mean like 10 songs about random stuff,
yeah. I
unrelated.
don't know about that. Not even in either of the bands. And I guess like a little bit like with the earlier Slime Lord material, it was kind of a little bit more in the vein of like random stuff. But at least like every song had like some sort of story or theme behind it that was a little bit more than just an idea behind the lyric. It was a bit more of like a, you could close your eyes and picture this like medieval dark fantasy like scenario unfolding. So I guess it's kind of always been somewhat conceptual, but yeah, definitely with this like debut album and stuff like that, and with the artwork, especially just creating that like world for the record itself. You getting comfy, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Nice one. But yeah, yeah, like definitely, I think it comes naturally at this point, and it's something that I think will definitely continue to be a part of at least the full length efforts and stuff like that. Because obviously with Slime Lord, like I said, the previous releases, the EPs and the singles and such, they're just those guys just trying new things and like trying different sounds and just kind of just growing as a band and stuff like that. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and I think like concept albums as well, like super like more immersive than just like a normal album. Like like I said, like you get some songs that like every song is just a different concept and it kind of takes you out of it sometimes. Not saying that it's bad, but like, if you look at concept albums, there's something that draws you to it, and like you fully feel like you've just spent like 40 minutes in a whole other place. And Slime Lord and Cryptic Shift are two different worlds entirely, but like, both are super effective in just like taking you out of your headset into somewhere else.
Yeah, I think because it being a full length, it needs to really, it needs to stand the test of time. And if you put work into like the themes that go throughout the whole album with like the subject matter and even the music itself, I think it will stand the test of time rather than just being a you know one-off thing that's just random. It's got to be all cohesive the full way.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. On Brad's point as well with the album, like it is fucking incredible because I listened to it before this just to like refresh my memory on it, and I was like, fucking hell. I noticed like with the album, there's like a lot more bits that feel like they just punch so much harder, and sort of lean more into the death metal realm of things. Whereas like I feel like in the previous stuff you've done, it's always lent more towards doom. So like, was that something intentional when you were writing it? Did you go into the room going, right, this we want to have a little bit more punch to this, or was it like just something that happened naturally whilst you were writing it?
I think when we started, especially like the first couple of EPs, we were just finding our way, finding our sound and what Slimelord is, you know. And I've mentioned before how all these songs are like pretty old. Like most of them are from like 2019, like the original recordings. So the original vibe of like that doominess and the just locking into a riff that feels like really Slimelord is still there. But yeah, like a bunch of tracks were really pushing the intensity, and it was just like a natural progression with us jamming Slimelord over the years.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
there's so many bits where like I was listening to it, I was like, oh, it's like a proper gut punch of a riff would come in, or like Ryan would just be going nuts on the fucking drums. I'd be like the intensity on some of the bits were just incredible.
Yeah, intensity was definitely like a big focal point for the record. Like Beckoning Bell and Hissing More, like those two have some ridiculous speeds and like sections that flow into one another that are just unrelenting, and you don't get any chance to like get your bearings, and you just thrust into the next riff.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I love like my favorite some of my favorite bits in the album is when it like slows down a lot and then you're like building up to these like massive colossus riffs for sure. Like I think it's like the atmosphere never leaves, but then like Nev said, the punch just comes in. But yeah, those build up sections are fucking amazing.
Yeah, the big builds, the big riffs has always been a big point of Slimelord. I think even as early as like on like Horrible Bog and the ending of Delta Death Sirens, those have just huge chunky riffs, and like personally from like a playing guitar point of view, that stuff comes from those like low heavy Morbid Angel kind of riffs, or like Gojira do that as well, where they just have a like, even if it's just a really simple riff, but it's like incredibly effective.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's super cool though, because like you listen to a concept album sometimes, and it might sound they might be singing about a certain subject, but it might not like replicate well on the riffs. It might just sound good. But I feel like with Slime Lord, like you generally feel like you are in the swamps and like these bogs, and like the way that the riffs are so heavy and in the drums and the vocals, it's all so like drowning and like so impactful. Like it's cool how you pull that off for sure. So I want to
Miserable piece, haven't we?
And obviously, I want to talk about like the concepts of the album then. So, it tackles like the fungal infections, the amphibians, if I'm correct. What inspired this concept for you guys?
Come on, let's talk about some frogs. Let's talk about some frogs. My town shit.
Talk
Nah,
about the geese as well.
well, I think we're all kind of into nature, and that inspires me, not just all in music, but in everything. But I think I went to study conservation, and I learned about Chytridiomycosis in there. But I won't get into the specifics of the disease. But in terms of it inspiring me, I just thought, it's a big theme within amphibians and stuff. So why not include it within our sort of swampy band? And I think it worked really well. And I think with the aggressive nature of the sort of disease, I think that also encapsulates the visceralness of our music as well.
Yeah, it's a real like bold title when you look into it. Like it is pretty death metal.
It's all
And
about
like
death.
yeah, it's gross. But yeah, and again, like Andy said, like, the swamp vibe and just, frogs are pretty cool. So
And general
like
ecology and just ecology and fantasy
in general
blended.
awareness, look after frogs because
Yeah, yeah.
what's gonna be gone. Once they're gone, I don't know.
Love the break.
Nothing to write up. Yeah, right about.
Yeah, and like combined with a lot of like the dark fantasy stuff that we're all into, like Dark Souls, obviously, and just like Berserk or Lord of the Rings, and all this cool badass stuff, and it seems like a perfect fit to put in these like real biology science stuff and like amalgamate them a little, so it's more like a fantasy adventure with all these themes like embedded in it.
Oh yeah, that's a really interesting way of like approaching it. To be fair, because there's so many people that I know that like when they write, they'll never base it off of anything right too specific. They'll be like, right, let's just like fuck about and find out what goes on. But like with you, there's always so much thought put into everything, and that's what I really appreciate with it.
Yeah, we just can't help ourselves. I think
We get
I think you
carried
should
away.
do that if you're in a band and you put in a full length together. You should go all in, and why not? It's if you just come up with a song or like some lyrics, it's like great. But if you just put it out there without thinking about it, you haven't really got what to back it up with. So yeah, you should definitely think twice about everything that you make and make sure it's powerful.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm gonna
And
say
on
is
with
like, is
the
this something that like Andy just came to you guys as, oh, oh boy, have I got a concept for you guys, and then you guys just sort of run for it from there.
Well, it was funny. I was in a lecture at uni. I was talking about this the other day, and we were learning about frogs and stuff. And I have a lecturer that was like, a, professor in amphibians, and we was learning about infectious diseases as well. And this came up on a slide, and I just went text Anna saying, "Chytridiomycosis. We need to use that as a song title or something." And it just kind of snowballed into the album.
Yeah, I mean, like the themes of Slimelord have been always about nature and frogs and caves and swamps and stuff. And it's like probably mostly inspired by Andy being part of like university courses that are in that realm, and that's just become Slimelord. So, like thinking of lyrics and like the stories, it's easy to just inject a lot of like what Andy talks about and brings up.
I like the image of like Andy coming back from like a lecture, being like, guys,
Yeah,
you let me tell
Listen
you
up.
something, and then everyone's like, that's fucking metal as hell. Let's put it
Yeah, science metal.
Size.
in. On the
Nathan, you're kind of quiet, by the way.
I'm quite quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
2 seconds. Am I louder now?
I think it's better. Yeah.
Sweet. With the artwork, I know you guys worked with like Brad Moore. Obviously, as needs no introduction there, he's a legend. What was it sort of like working with him? Is it like a case of you haven't had a lot of control with it, or was it he's one of those artists where you just kind of let him cook and just run with it?
I mean, he's the art wizard, so we kind of just give him the materials and he kind of cast a spell, and then the artwork appeared before us, and it was like, oh, right, that's what it looks like. Um, but yeah, I don't know. The guy's like got an incredible natural vision with stuff, so he was very easy to kind of like just trust in him. We've been a fan of like a lot of his work, and yeah, he's a great guy to work with. Like we got like handwritten letters and stuff like that. And yeah, the guy's awesome, super supportive still, like to this day, and supportive like the whole time in anticipation for the release and stuff like that. And yeah, a real artist. And it was great to definitely like collaborate with him, especially on like bringing the concept to life, you know. It was nice as well to kind of not necessarily give him any instruction whatsoever, like I mentioned, just the concept, the music itself. I think yeah, we sent him that over, right?
Yeah, I think I'd like a most of like the story outline. If you got the physical record in it, there's like a bunch of paragraphs like describing like each song, which is like the general story. And I think we sent him that, and the lyrics were like half done at the time. So in a way, like his art also informed the lyrics in a cool way. So he had like the story, he had a bunch of like reference images that were like begin skip art pieces or like old film posters like Sinbad Seventh Voyage with like the Cyclops and stuff on the front, the two-headed eagle thing, and a bunch of like references that had like cool vibe or similar colors. And so we didn't have like an incredibly specific like thing to create like that opposes like something like Cryptic Shift where we want like a specific character in a specific location. It was really just open for him to for his imagination to go wild, which is I think why you should hire Brad Moore because of his imagination, And I think if you hinder him too much in like wanting exactly this, it wouldn't have been a good a product. So he came up with like basically all of it. But if you look throughout the artwork, there's like little bits everywhere that you can link to every song. I think I gave him like 7 or 8 or so things that I thought like do what you want, but these things are like prominent in the album. So it'd be cool if you could put them in. Like for example, I think in the top right there's like a crystal coming out of a wall, which is supposed to be like the clanger inside the beckoning bell. And over on the left, I think you can see some creature like crawling out of the beckoning bell, which is like cracked. And then like the big orange thing in the center, which is supposed to be a rhizome, which is like some plant root thing, is supposed to be the boss of like Gut Brain Axis, the second track. Like at the end, as you're venturing through the toad, the stomach of the toad, you'll come to like the boss room, like like proper like Bloodborne Dark Souls vibe, and you'll be like, oh shit, health bar pops up, and the great demon rhizome is like the boss,
And then they find out you died.
I assume that's because obviously the song "The Beckoning Bell." I assume that's a Bloodborne reference, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it's not like the album's about Bloodborne. It's
No,
more
no,
that
no.
One word.
just
Words.
just the phrase is just pretty badass. You're like, what the hell are we beckoning here? And
It sounds
like,
death metal as fuck for sure.
yeah,
And
and
conceptually, it's a big bell in a chamber, isn't it?
yeah. The guy like travels to the center of the earth through like caverns and past stalagmites, stalactites, and volcanic cavities and lava tubes and stuff, and he gets to this bell that's like literally like as big as like a building, and he rings it, and which beckons the giant toad, which he meets in Gut Brain Axis.
That's so cool.
So cool. Yeah.
I on the artwork as well, like there's so like with what you were saying with Bradmore's stuff, there's so much shit that like you don't realize he packs in there. Because I was saying to Brad, like I got the like the Coffin Mulch album that he did for him as well, and I must have stared at that artwork like 1,000 times when I've been putting it on. And I was like, I noticed something new about it like every time. I'll open it and have like a really good look. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's a
us too.
fucking human art
Yes,
there, and like shit like that. Oh, there's just so many layers on his artwork that just makes everything so much better, like visually when you look at it.
Yeah, and the colors too is really striking. It's not just like a gray and black death metal cover. It's really vibrant, which I thought,
It's a good palette.
yeah, fitted Slimelord well, with it being like themed around nature. Nature's pretty diverse, so
Yeah, super
Right.
cool. So I want to switch it for a second and ask you, what obviously I know that you guys are big sci-fi film fans. So what do you think are like the most underrated sci-fi film that you can think of? And one from each of you. And why,
The most-
obviously.
Underrated sci-fi.
underrated. Okay.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the most underrated film ever, the greatest film of all time, actually. And yes, totally robbed of all its total prestige. The best film ever, the best sci-fi film. The best film. Phantom Menace, but no,
I actually agree with you.
There's a sci-fi horror called Cube, and that's pretty good. Not many people know it. It's pretty fucking terrifying.
I actually
Yeah,
agree with you on Phantom Menace, actually. I actually think it is a bit underrated because it gets so
Yeah.
much flack. I actually really like it.
Since like the first time you guys were on, well, it's Xander and Ryan, Brad finally watched Star Wars. It took so much convincing, but he finally fucking did it, and I'm
Love it
so
now.
proud of him.
Yeah, we're proud of you, man. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think Phantom Menace
Means
is
a lot coming
the
from you
best
guys.
one. It's definitely the best one.
The best
like the most
underrated.
well-made one, because
Underrated.
well, I think it's becoming less and less underrated, which is good. But yeah, like he had like 17 years to prepare for that and make it exactly how he wanted, and I think from that perspective, it's definitely the best. Go on, what's your movie?
Science fiction.
Most underrated, bro.
Oh, I think a film that gets unnecessary hate, Predator 2. I love
Yeah.
Predator 2.
Oh, on the same page with
People
that.
shit on Predator 2, but I think it's
Yeah.
Pretty scary.
it's an amazing film.
It's pretty scary.
It is great. It's such a great idea to put the Predator in
And
concrete jungle.
Pretty scary. Pretty scary.
And it's like kind of funny as well in places. And I think that sort of like 80s humor vibe kind of balances the absolute murder going on.
Yeah.
That and Anaconda.
Yeah, you know what?
Scary.
Fiction, but like,
It's kind of sci-fi.
yeah, it is sci-fi.
Like,
Fantasy in it, giant.
It's pretty slime.
Fake.
Lord.
Yeah. Anaconda.
I also thought that Predators, like, the one that came out in 2010, I thought that was
Adrian
underrated as
Brody,
well.
That was a sick film.
Great
Yeah.
movie. Great
Yeah.
one. I'm gonna pick Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh,
You
Riddick
don't
is,
see that.
yeah, that's a good choice. To be fair, that
Yeah, I mean the the movie critic world, professional movie critic world, proper slagged it off in 2004 whenever it came out, which destroyed the chance for like high budget sequels. So hopefully we're getting a real sequel soon. Yeah, Riddick's badass.
Oh yeah. I also just find it really like weirdly funny seeing Vin Diesel in a sci-fi film, if that makes any sense. You know, when you see him just there and he'll deliver a line, you're there like, I wouldn't have delivered it that way, but yeah, I mean, it's just funny seeing him.
I think that's his best role. Like a lot of people have only seen him in like Fast and Furious, and they've just got more and more ridiculous. So, but Pitch Black was filmed in 1999, and that was his first big move. Well, first movie, proper movie in it, which is a sci-fi. So, I see him as being pretty grounded in the sci-fi.
Oh yeah.
What about yourselves?
I think it's because it's like my first experience. Oh, I thought you were on about Vin Diesel for a second there. Mine will probably be Predators as well, because I fucking loved that film, like when I was like a kid.
Sick.
What about you, bro?
Yeah, not bad either, really.
Scratching my brain. Oh, what was that?
Yeah.
Recently. I was going to go with The Rival, but that's quite popular, isn't it? So I might need to pick something else.
Do people rate Event Horizon?
Event Horizon's
Correct.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's why people rate that.
Event Horizon's good, yeah. I mean, it turns into a bit of like a B-movie horror at the end, but it's worth a watch.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say Brad's pick of Arrival. I was there like, that's not underrated at all. Like,
He's like the biggest director in the world right now, so it's not really underrated.
Oh yeah. Have you seen did you watch Dune 2, by the way? Speaking of obviously
Yeah. Of
That was
course,
amazing.
bro.
What did you think?
Yeah, it was sick, bro.
Yeah, it's massive.
Me and Brad saw it like last week, and I walked in. I was like, I want to see it again. Like I'd have paid for a seat ticket to walk right back into the next viewing.
Yeah, I'm off to see it for the third time this week.
Yeah,
The third
so
time this week.
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah, but I think because I loved Doom 1, it was great, and I watched it again and I appreciated it even more. But I feel like the second one just took it like to whole new lengths. Like that whole scene with the when it's like all black and white, it's like that was all filmed in infrared camera. I was just like, oh my God.
Hey, I fucking told you
Oh,
that
sick.
outside of the cinema after you'd seen it. Don't just
It's super
regurgitate
cool,
it as
man.
if you googled it yourself. Yeah, no, it was fucking. Honestly, I sat. I don't think I was ever more locked into a film. Like as it started, I had the woman sat next to me and just go, "By the way, there's an emergency. We'll be on our phones." And like normally I'd be like, "Shit, I'm gonna be distracted the whole time just with this glaring light across my face." But then, as soon as the movie started, I was that locked in. I didn't even care. Like the whole cinema could have been on their phones, and I wouldn't give a shit. I was like, just so like focused on what was going on screen.
Have you seen it in 4D, bro?
No, what's it like in
in
4D?
4DX, bro?
On the roller coaster seats, like you need to catch it now.
Oh mate, I might actually have to see it in 4D because
You
I
have
reckon
to,
it
bro.
goes mad.
You fly the ship, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's good.
I don't think I've ever seen a film in 4D, you know. Like honestly, I know
Trust me, bro. If you had, you would know.
Oh yeah, I
You
know.
would know if you've seen a film in 4D, bro.
Yeah, no, I haven't because like I think my mum and dad ages ago they went to see the new Fast and Furious in 4D and they were like it was fucking ridiculous because they were just getting flung about like everywhere.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
But I was busy that day, so I missed on the opportunity. But after they came back, I was like, I wish I'd fucking gone now.
Yeah, I think Dune does it pretty well because like there's a good amount of talking and just like looking at nice vistas, and then there's action as well. So it's a good balance. But I can imagine like Fast and Furious is ridiculous.
No, mate, honestly,
Must be insane.
my dad was fuming because he spent like he got some popcorn and within like 5 minutes to the film, it was just fucking everywhere. I just shook the whole bucket out. Yeah, no, it was fucking. I wish I had seen a film in 4D. With the release, obviously we know you, so like the release would have been on our radar, but because we do this when we're on like Metal Twitter a lot, we're seeing so many people that we don't know like sharing the Slimelord album or just being like, you checked out the new Slimelord album, and like it seems to be getting a lot of attention. Was it something that after you had recorded it, you kind of sat on it going, yeah, we know this is gonna fucking do well, or was it like a case of like it's kind of surprised you in a way how much how many people it's reached?
I think once we knew that we were going to be working with 20 Buck Spin, we were like,
Yeah.
cool, this is like a good place for the band to be and like a good place to kind of like call home. It was like nice for the record to come out on an American label. Of course, that benefits like bands from over here quite a lot. And yeah, it's quite cool, you know, like you say, it's all over the place. I mean, none of us go on Twitter, but it's nice to hear that like it's all over there. That's cool. It's nice seeing like all the numbers growing on like Spotify and all the new followers and messages and stuff like that we're getting on Instagram and stuff like that. Pretty cool, you know. It's nice. We don't know much about like how the physical copies have done and stuff like that, but I'd imagine it's doing quite well, and it's definitely doing quite well on the back of like the release show we did in London at the weekend and stuff like that. It was nuts, like especially for us, to go there, and you know there wasn't too many people at the show that we knew as friends, you know, and that's a bit surprising, especially for like Slimelord being a smaller band. That you know how it is a lot of the time, you are performing to people that you know come along to catch up with you as well, rather than actual fans who are strangers and you know want to meet you and stuff like that. That's awesome. So you know it's nice for all that stuff to like come forward now. It definitely makes up for the time we spent like waiting for the release to come out and stuff like that. I think we finished up around 7 months before the album was due for release. So it was quite nice, you know. Everything came together quite well, and yeah, it's just good to see the support just like growing day by day and stuff like that. It's cool, man.
Oh yeah, like because we have to use Twitter for the podcast, but like we always like I always search like little tags, you know, like and just new releases or like metal Twitter, and like one of the first things I saw that popped up were just people just absolutely talk like just so many people talking about like the new Slimelord, and I was like, that's fucking sick. I know those
Awesome.
guys. Do you know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like,
Yeah, awesome.
it was like
Awesome.
just really cool to see.
Sweet.
Yeah. And when we speak to like we speak to like a few bands like Warflurch, we're like proper bigging you guys up, and like, you know, a
Cool.
few other like death metal bands that we spoke to. So this is cool.
Cool.
But yeah, honestly well deserved. So obviously we talked about Slimelord. What's new for Cryptic Shift? Are you guys focusing on that now then? Anything in the process?
Yeah, I think like, you know, we got a bit of time to kind of like, you know, really put the gas on for getting the second album like all written up, and hopefully we'll be in the studio or finished up in the studio just before we go on the Slimelord tour. So it's kind of nice to like things are now like the Slimelord album's out. We've got a bit of time before the European tour to kind of prepare. And in the meantime, I guess we can shift stuff over to Cryptic Shift album 2. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
Have you
it's
played
coming
around with any
soon.
concepts?
Oh, it's all there. It's all there. It's just we're just putting the final pieces together with the writing and stuff like that. And then we've scheduled to be in the studio at some point soon. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of, you know, getting cracking with that, I suppose, now that the time's up. So it's decent.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've got a question directed at to Andy. As a vocalist, who was like the who as a vocalist who was like the guy that made you want to be a vocalist for one, and like
Maybe want
what
to
do
be
you
a vocalist.
yeah, and what was like the biggest challenge you had when you first got into vocals?
Well, it's a long history because I've always wanted to be a vocalist since like I kind of got into like extreme music from like a young teenage years. But I think just one that stands out for me with the vocalist from Job for a Cowboy, I think his like guttural inhales were disgusting, and I'm like, I want to be able to do that, and I just practiced for years. And then on our first practice, I was doing inhales because I thought that's the gnarliest sound I could make, but I scrapped that quite soon and went to like my exhales and kind of went for that more traditional Death Doom cavernous vocal style.
Jump for a cowboy.
Yeah,
You like all the early stuff.
yeah, it is, like
bro.
I'm talking. I can't even remember what album it's from right now, but yeah,
yeah,
2010 stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
we
proper
talked
into
we
like the
talked
last
to
couple of albums as like, especially as a vocal inspiration as well. So it's interesting that you're into it for like the early like super brutal
Yeah.
stuff.
I didn't even know they were still active as a band.
Yeah, definitely, bro. They'll just put a new album out, first one in like 10 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, mate,
Yeah.
it's a fucking whirlwind of an album as well. Like
Cool.
it's border like they went for obviously tech death, but like borderline psychedelic. Like, in fact, just full on psychedelic at bits. Because like they've got their basis was just fucking. There's so many good like little hooks where it's just like you just like end up losing yourself in it. Where you're there like, oh my god, that's such a fucking nice just bass tone as well. Like it's actually unbelievable that album. Like to not release something in 10 years and then come back with that. It's like fucking fun. Just showing off at that point, like really.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out probably.
It's so good. Like we spoke to the bassist and he said that since when they were like quiet, they were working on it. Like they had, but they just got constant pushbacks. Like they'd been writing it since before COVID. And it was like, it was mad to hear that.
Yeah, that's how it happens sometimes. You know, like these Slimelord songs are from 2019, you know, and like I've got riffs from like 2013, 14 that are gonna be cropping up soon. So that's how it goes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. I want to ask you guys because obviously, like, and this is one of our like classic podcast questions, but I don't think even though we probably know you guys more than most people that we get on, what actually got you all into heavy music? Like, what was the defining moment?
Good question, that.
I mean, to be totally honest, I don't know, probably like pro wrestling, fucking that's not like that's probably the first thing that got me into it. But yeah,
Like by heavy music, do you mean rock music or like extreme metal or?
Yeah, I'd
that's
say like not. That's a good question. Yeah, I'd say like not like rock music, but more like heavy metal, I guess. So probably leading towards thrashers, like you know, a defining moment, or maybe straight into death metal. Don't know what your journey is, but yeah, not rock, but metal.
The first Extreme album was Gorgoth the Antichrist.
Straight in the
I don't
deep
think I've
end.
ever got this deep.
I got it like in a copy of Metal Album. I was like, I look sad, what's that? I like Demi Moore gear on the front. I like oblivious to that scene, and then I opened this magazine and I was like, well, that's me hooked.
Yeah, for me, probably just Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah, same, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, straight up,
just
mate.
learning about the riff
Yeah,
from
bro.
Rage Against the Machine, you know, and then like trying to play Slayer and Expert and that. That definitely opened a lot of doors.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like on a similar vibe to Ryan with pro wrestling because
Totally,
like
bro.
I'd watch it as a kid, not realize what I'd listen to, and then when I got
Of
into
course, bro.
this type of music, I'd come back and be like, that's Triple H's theme, that shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
shit
totally.
like that. Where I'd like
Yeah, totally,
realize
bro.
that I just like watched it and been like, I was proper into it, and then just not really were a kid, so I didn't look into it too much.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I feel the same a bit because I definitely played a few of the video games like on PS2, and like the heavy new metal stuff probably desensitized me to that style.
Totally, bro.
You know,
Yeah.
so when I actually did
Got
come
over it
across it,
quick.
so when I did come across like heavier stuff, it was like easier and more digestible, you know.
Oh yeah, I remember like I first got into it from like just mates. Like, well, got into it from pro wrestling, but never really looked it up in the background. And then I'd like some like one mate that was like into it, but listen to this band, listen to this band. But it was all like your standard like entry level stuff like Korn and like Slipknot and stuff like that. So I think like the first ever extreme band was probably like Suffocation because like first thing like every time I saw you guys was at that 2017 gig, which was also my first ever metal gig. So like
That's
they were
cool,
like the
bro.
first extreme band I'd ever like seen. So like
That's a good
that
entry point
immediately
for
got me.
Extreme, isn't it?
Yeah, that is pretty nuts. That's like the deep
yeah.
end, bro.
Mate,
It's a good
Suffocation.
throw you in at the deep end.
mate, honest, you know what? Me and my mate, we were sat there in city centre, not what to do, and we wanted to see a show, but we didn't know where the fuck to go. So we just typed in like metal shows in Leeds, and Suffocation happened to be like one of the first things that popped up. And we were like, that band kind of looks sick, you know, like let's go check them out. But when we got there, we paid on the door and like had no idea what we were about to get into. And as soon as you guys played, I was like, fucking hell, this kicks. And then when they played, I was like, yeah, this is fucking kicking. Like, I could just like fell into like some of I was like, yeah, fuck new metal now. I can't listen to Korn now. But yeah, I like the first thing extreme I were ever exposed to.
That's cool, man.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. What is it? What would you say? Like, I know that you kind of went through like obviously a lineup change. What's it been like having a new guitarist to sort of gel off of recently?
It's cool. It's cool. Travis is sweet, but we haven't had too much time to like create stuff together. I guess a lot of the time we've just been training him up on executing the album and stuff like that. But it's kind of cool. I mean, like the first gig he ever played live was like what, the Necropolis show
with Undergang.
Yeah, and then the second gig he ever played live was like with Carcass.
And then in comes
yeah, so he got kind of thrown at the deep end with it. So it's cool. Like honest, like the guy had never played live too much before, so he's kind of like finding his feet with all that stuff as well. But he's cool. His solo stuff, Abominable Filth, that's pretty sick, and the guy's an incredible shredder. So I suppose it's going to be, when the time comes to work on new stuff, I think we're in good hands with it, at least as far as it goes to how it's going to connect and stuff like that, with at least where our influences are at. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Oh yeah, oh, go on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Christian had his own style that's like present on the album. He often went into like almost like doomy black metal sections that you can hear on like Loretta's Bane ending especially, and obviously Christian had a bunch of riffs on the album, so that style's obviously cemented in the album, and his solo style was like unique as well. So the next stuff is Travis definitely going to be like shredding fast. He does a lot of I don't know what would you say it's like.
Oh no,
I don't know,
like burning out. But
yeah, like James Murphy, just death metal stuff. So it'd be really interesting to hear some of Trav's riffs and shreds for sure.
Oh yeah, like the interactions I've had with him, he seems just like proper psyched. He seems like a really good energy just to have around, because like every time like you see him, he's just proper pumped to be there. Like, do you know what I mean? He's a nice guy. Like he just
proper
seems
cool,
so
man.
enthusiastic about it all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say as well, like thrown straight in the deep end with incantations. That's a fight or flight in it. So seems like he's made his way, which is cool.
You passed the test.
Yeah, he just plugs in and gets on with it.
Best way to
Awesome
be.
stuff. Yeah, so we got one more question for you guys. Bit of a wild card, but so as if you're trapped in the swamps and you're about to fight the Amphibian final boss, and you only had your bandmates to survive with, if you had to choose one member to be most reliant on and one member to be least reliant on, who would you pick and why?
Oh,
Usually we have like one
we normally have one person,
Don't get
but
in
we've
here
got
first,
three.
don't you?
I don't know, mate. John's kind of like, I don't know, he's quick, isn't he? You can be quick with stuff like this, bro. It's quite hard to. All right. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm getting out of that scenario. I'm all right. I know I'm all right. And I'd like to say that Travis would assist me in getting out there first and foremost.
I think, yeah.
I'd definitely set a trap up for someone so I get out for free. Like some little quicksand trap.
Well, what kind of beast are we talking? We're in like a dark swamp, and what emerges from the bog? What is it?
It'll be a giant amphibious horn toad.
I can take that in a fight.
Andy, can you describe one of those to us? What is it? What's its skill set?
Eat everything and anything
What's his
that
build?
moves. Consume. That's the boss name. The Great Consumer.
Right.
You reckon John would step up and have like a really good idea, and it saves all?
I reckon we could set it on fire.
No, I don't know. To be honest with you, you've got expertise in this stuff.
But my passport's expired. I'm not even going to go swap it.
Nah, you're in. You're stuck, bro. You're stuck, bro.
Just gotta bring the resin sword.
I think a couple of us
Do you know what?
distract it while Andy like analyzes its weakness based on his studies.
Getting the question out of the way. John Riley is going in the bog. He's going in the bog, man. Like, I'm sorry, but he's going in the bog. He's getting consumed, bro. But in his honour, Travis is going with him, and Travis is going to go down fighting. Me and Andy are going to get out there and then probably spend the remainder of the time looking for Xander. I don't know where he's at, but he's somehow got out of there pretty clear. That's how I see it going down. That's how I see it going down. Me and Andy get away.
Barely.
I'm uncertain about you, but you're probably all right.
I'd probably climb up a tree. There you go.
Smart.
John would slip, man. He'd slip on something, man. Like, that'd be it. He'd slip on something, bro. He'd slip on something, and then Trav would go back. Yeah, I'll start laying it in. But I don't know if he's going to be able to take on the something. Yeah, like that.
I think Trav'd have some grenades or something, and he'd up to get eaten, but like he'd pull the grenades as he goes in, and he'd
self-sacrifice.
He'd blow the
Dies
toad
a
up from
martyr.
the inside.
Yeah, I think me and Andy would outsmart the situation, to be honest with you.
I think
We're kind of relaxed with it. I don't know. I don't know if we'd be on the front line, to be honest with you. I think we'd be like, yeah, let's go, bro. Yo, Adam, bro. I'm poking the sticks out, bro. Like, yo, go see. What's that over there? Yo, go see that thing. What's that? I'm prodding him out the door, yo.
That'll give them.
Just like,
we'll be all right.
hey, lads, I reckon we could
We would be
take it and then just like slowly backing out as everyone's walking forward.
Run away.
I would show him a copy of the album, and he'd let us off. He'd be like, "Yeah,
Mesmerized.
spreading the words of Toads."
Like, yeah, it's that, bro. So basically, nobody's fighting them. We're choosing the flight or fight them. We're choosing the flight option.
With what?
We're fighting the boss, so I would just like choosing to run away and sacrificing the other bandmates to get away.
Reception.
I don't know. I'll observe for a bit. Like, I'll watch, see how it's
For a
going.
bit.
But I mean, if it's not looking too good, I'm gonna get out there. Like, you know, it is what it is.
Like, give it like 5 minutes, see how like the cards are playing, like how they're getting dealt first, and then be like, if it's not going your way, like, fuck it, I'm bouncing.
I mean, yeah, you know, we got to write Cryptic Shift albums, bro. You know, it's been 5 years, man.
Yeah, well, it's been awesome having you guys on. Obviously nice seeing you guys again. I'm sure I'll see you soon. I'll probably pop at a Slimelord show. I also really want to fucking get the album on vinyl as well, because it sounds amazing. So yeah, honestly, amazing work. It's an absolute masterpiece. It's been mine and Nathan's favourite. That's come out in a while. So yeah, well done.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Cheers.
No worries. Yeah, great having you on. I'll probably see you at the Incantation show. Well done on Ryan for that, by the way. Fucking smashed it.
Nice one, bro.
Yeah,
Should be
looking
fun.
forward to that.
Awesome,
yeah,
bro.
It's been great having you on. Obviously, new album's mint. If anyone's listening, check it out because it's a fucking banger. But yeah, it's great having you on.
Awesome.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Right,
Catch
see you
you
soon. All the best.